So in here we are going to create a basic system, which is it is going to be if the button is pressed, what is the price, and signal the game economic system, and same goes for the other buttons. So in here we have our product that it is going to say if it is owned by the player, then show or hide, or depending on what your code is doing to a player that owns the object. And in here we have the economy system. We have player cash, and if the player can't afford it, and two signals for failing and getting succeeded with the transaction. We have buy function that is going to say if the value is more than what the player has, then it is not affordable and say fail. But if it is not, then it is affordable, reduce the money from the player as what the object is cost, then send signal to transaction successful. So now we have to add some limitations to this code because now we have the ability to buy the same object multiple times, which is that's not what we are looking for. So to fix this, we are going to say if not what is owned, which is means if the object is not owned by the player, then the player will do the transaction. So now we are going to say if it is not owned, if it is owned by the player, then you cannot buy this. It is already owned by the player. And then we are going to emit signal transaction failed. Now, as you can see, I am buying the object. I have 2000 cash and I can buy almost all of them. So now this one is for 100 cash and I have 1900 cash right now. And it says transaction successful. Object is what we bought. Same goes for this one. And as you can see now we have less cash, same amount of as what we put in the code. You can make it a variable as well for the object itself instead of hard coding it. And as you can see, I bought the most expensive one as well. But if I try to buy the same thing again, it says you already own this, transaction failed. And by this way, you can prevent duplication for your game. And to prevent selling non-existing objects, as you might guess, this will be an exploit. To fix this, we are going to use the same method we used for the buying function. We are going to say if what we are trying to sell is owned by us, then reduce the cash from the player and say you sold this for this price and emitting the signal transaction is successful. And as you can see now, I am running the project and now I don't have anything, but I have 20 grand. Now I am buying all of them. Now I have 600 cash and I can't buy further because I implemented a limitation to prevent duplication. And now, since I own these, I can sell them back. And if I sell them, I will get 90% of the price. And I cannot sell the same thing again because I do not own this anymore. And now, as you can see, my cash is back to 1800 instead of 2000. This is because we are selling the object on 90% of its price, which means we are losing 10%. You can change this in the code that is in the description. Now, one thing to keep in mind that is important that I forgot to add in the first version of the code is that you have to add an is selling function to be sure that it is not mistaking the buying and selling functions in the economy system. In our case, this will prevent a confusion between the transaction successful for buying and selling. And in the buying function, we are going to set this to be false. When it is false, we will be able to buy something. But if it is true for the selling function, this will actually remove the item from our player, as you can see. To be honest, I wasn't actually expecting this tutorial to be that short, so thanks for watching and like and subscribe. I really appreciate you. Bye bye.